Hey, what's up guys, this is Nightwing2303 from WearTesters.com. Today we're going over my top 10 list for 2014. Just like every year, this is my personal preference, so all of these are just based on what I would choose in order from 1 to 10. Or from 10 to 1, however you decide to look at it. If you disagree with my list, that's perfectly fine. Just do so nicely in the comment section below. There's no reason to hate. We're just talking about sneakers here. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and get right into it. 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 So my number 10 spot is actually the Nike PRIM Hype DF. It's dual fusion tech, great traction, decent durability, and the price point alone is just enough for me to just go ahead and say, go ahead and cop it. All of its performance features for under $100 is pretty good. So the number 9 spot goes to the Peak TP91. I just reviewed the TP92. You can really put either one in that spot, that number 9 spot. It doesn't really matter. I'd say whichever one you can get for less, I'd go with that, and either way you'll be good to go. Their key points are the traction and the cushion, and it's not your typical brand, so when you're on court, you're going to be a little bit more unique. Just kind of think outside the box a bit. The number 8 spot goes to the Nike Zoom HYPERREV. This model I played in earlier this year. I'm talking like January, and I still love that shoe. They have awesome transition, really fluid. The full-length zoom is just unbelievably awesome, and then the mesh upper just feels great wrapped around your foot. You can also get those for way less than retail right now since they're so old, so that would be a great shoe pretty much for anybody from the 1 to 3 spot. Spot number 7 goes to the Nike Zoom Soldier 8. This shoe, I wasn't too fond of its zoom setup, but everything else was perfect. The lockdown was incredible, the fit I thought was perfect, at least for me, and then the traction was solid, so I really had nothing to complain about. Spot number 6 actually comes to a new brand, which is very weird for me at least. I don't ever think of a new brand just kind of breaking the mold straight out the gate, but BRANDBLACK did that, and they did it with their J Crossover 1. That shoe fits perfectly just like the Kobe 5, and despite their looks, they actually performed really nicely. Cushion also was great, as well as their traction. Just don't use them outside, otherwise you're going to be sliding all over the place. Spot number 5 goes to the KD7. I know that some people had certain issues with the heel area. Me personally, I didn't have an issue whatsoever. I love the dual setup that they had. It was really supportive and structured in the heel, and then it was really free and free-flowing in the front with that mesh. And then the zoom setup in the front and back was awesome, and it was one of the few KDs where I actually put them on straight out the box and they didn't hurt my feet. Number 4 goes to the Kobe 9. This goes for any model. I'm talking the Elite, high top, low top, the EM, doesn't really matter. Those things are wicked. If you need traction, that's the shoe to get right now. You can get certain colorways on discount as far as the EM model goes, and I personally didn't like the restriction of the high top version, but that low Elite is just fire. Spot 3 goes to a shoe that I was not interested in whatsoever. It is the LEBRON 12, and while I wasn't a huge fan of that 4-foot zoom as far as its feeling or responsiveness goes, I thought that it had a perfect blend of everything. It had decent traction for me, depending on the court that I was on. Super dusty courts, so I wouldn't bother with them, but cleaner courts, they were perfectly fine. It was one of the more flexible LeBrons I've ever worn. Heel cushion was amazing, and then the upper was just fantastic. It was mesh but durable, so if you like the HYPERREV upper but you didn't like its durability, the LEBRON 12 is probably the way to go. Now these two shoes right here, you could really interchange them between the 1 and 2 spot. It was a really hard decision, but number 2 goes to the Jordan 29. I loved everything about it, other than I thought that last year's traction was just way better than this year's. But that performance woven upper is a game changer. I hope that Jordan Brand actually keeps using this and updates it a little bit further. I would really like to see some more patterns with that as well. Right now we really only have 2 versions, and I would just love to see what they could do with it. And then the number 1 spot goes to the Under Armour CLUTCHFIT Drive. Despite giving me blisters every single time I play in them, I get some of the best traction, the most amazing cushion, and then that fit is just incredible. And you get some of the best performance for 125 bucks. So that pretty much takes care of my list. If you're wondering what my runners-up were that didn't quite make it, it was the EKTIO ALEXIO and the D-Rose 5 Boost. The reason why those 2 didn't make it on my list, as far as the EKTIO goes, it has really great performance and it has some of the best lockdown available, but they just haven't quite streamlined that look, in my opinion, to where a mainstream audience is going to want to grab those. So if you're looking for a shoe that you need no ankle braces or anything like that required, that's the shoe to get, but it just didn't quite make my top 10. And then the ADIDAS Rose 5, I loved everything about it except for that fit really killed my foot every time I wore them, and if I can't keep wearing a shoe, it's not really going to make my list. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for all your support over the last year. Be sure to stay tuned to my site, WearTesters.com, for all your performance needs, and until next time guys, have a good one.